Okay, I think we all got it together. Mr. Olivares, at long last, we've been having all this fun.
Yes, sir.
You've been faithfully waiting for it, Mr. Abraham Carrasco. Would you please raise your right hand, sir?
It was for Cornelius Cox.
Right. Okay, Mr. Olivares, you'll just stick around. We're still waiting for him. We're going to take a plea from Mr. Carrasco.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Olivares. Appreciate your patience.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Carrasco, again, raise your right hand. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear that in this proceeding, the information and responses you will give us will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Mr. Carrasco, before we proceed, there are several rights and constitutional protections that I want to remind you that you have. The first right that I always address is called the right to remain silent. You hear it on movies and all kinds of stuff. You may have heard it in court before. The right to remain silent means that constitutionally, you cannot be required to make any kind of statement, answer any question, submit any paperwork, especially papers that have a confession or admission to wrongdoing. Do you understand you have the right to remain silent?
Yes, Judge.
Secondly, you have the right to a jury trial. That means that you and your attorney and the state, from a random jury panel, would select 6 people who would hear the evidence testimony in your case and decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. That's the right to a jury trial. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, Judge.
You have the right to confront witnesses. People think of it as facing your accusers. That means that you and your attorney would have the right to question, cross-examine, or challenge any witness who would testify. It's called the right to confrontation of witnesses. You understand you have that right?
Yes, Judge.
There's another right called the right to appeal. Basically, that's a right that you have individually or your attorney can use for you, or the two of you together can demand that a higher court review the official record, the evidence, and the results of this hearing. That's ordinarily called the right of appeal. You'd have to follow the right forms and the time limits. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, Judge.
Right. Now, finally, you have a right to have this hearing in the public courtroom. It is a protection that you have, and that right, we're not exercising at this time. We're not doing that because of the COVID pandemic. Things will be changing soon, but at this point, we're not doing that. However, unless you agree to what's called video conference, you would still have that right to demand a hearing in an open public courtroom. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, Judge.
In this situation today, if you proceed into a plea bargain and a plea, you would give up all those rights that I just mentioned. Is that clear?
Yes, Judge.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir. I do not have any questions.
Now, I'm going to show you some papers. Okay, okay. I'm trying to handle this by myself without having my coordinator do all this. The first paper I'm going to show you is called the state's consent to video conference. But I want to point out to you that this document at the top has what I call identifying information. This information is going to be repeated on almost every document that I will show you. It has the cause number 650492, the state of Texas versus Abraham Patrick Carrasco in County Court Law number 5, Bexar County, Texas. That's what I'll refer to as identifying information. Now, the title of this document is State's Consent to Video Conference. That title, and like the other titles on other documents, are going to be in all capitals, bold print. You can see how it sticks out. This document belongs to the state because the state has the right, also like you do, to have this hearing, this plea, in the open public courtroom by the signature that you'll see right here. Andrew Harris Ailman, on behalf of the state, has agreed to video conference. Do you see that document?
Yes, Judge.
You understand what it says?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Now, this next document, again, repeats the identifying information. And the document title is Discovery Acknowledgement. Quite simply, this talks about Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. It tells you that there is a specific law that requires the state, in this case, to fully inform you, give access to any kind of evidence or material or information that's important for you to make a informed and intelligent decision concerning this case. Now, I'm going to show you two signatures. The signature of your attorney and of Mr. Edelman on behalf of the state. They are telling you that that law requiring the discovery, the information, that law has been obeyed. You understand that? You understand that, sir?
Yes.
All right. This next document,
Yes.
again, the identifying information, the same thing repeated all over. But the title here is Defendant's Consent to Video Conference. That's your document that says you agree to video conference instead of showing up in the courtroom. And by the way, did you see and understand this document? It has your signature.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. By the way, I started to tell you a moment ago, this proceeding is being done by video conference, but it's being shown on YouTube, and anyone in the public can tune in and watch and see everything and hear everything. Is that clear?
Yes, Judge.
All right. This next document, guess what gets repeated? The identifying information. This one is defendant's waiver of constitutional rights and court's admonition. Mr. Trevino, did you and your client review this document carefully?
Yes, Judge.
Do you believe that he understands what it says?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Carrasco, do you agree with your attorney that you have reviewed this document carefully?
Yes, Judge.
All right. It says that you're declaring that you're entering a plea of nolo contendere on driving while intoxicated. The original charge, if you notice there, up at the top there, it says DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. That's called extreme intoxication. Your attorney has done a very good job and he's gotten that reduced. And there's some very important reasons for that. There's a very important benefit from that. If you'll notice, the rest of this document was divided into 15 separate sections or parts, and each one is numbered. Number one is range of punishment. Did you see what your punishment is for you on a DWI first?
Yes, Judge.
Number two, I want you to read that for me real quick. Number two, right there in front, at the top.
Yes, sir. Do I go ahead and read now?
Sorry?
Okay.
You're breaking up on me for some reason.
Okay. Can you hear me?
You're breaking up though. I hear that you're trying to talk. Let me just verify. It says in there, you're saying this, I understand I have a right to a jury trial, a right to cross-examination of witnesses, and a right to remain silent. I freely, voluntarily waive, parentheses, give up, close parentheses, those rights. Is that a true statement, sir? Mr. Carrasco.
aren't you? Yeah. Yeah. I don't see him.
Mr. Carrasco, you still with us?
Judge, I'm still with you. For some reason, I was going through some audio problems, but I can hear you. I'm not sure if you can.
Okay,
hear
I'm
me,
hearing you again.
sir.
All right, stay with me.
Okay, great.
Okay, now, I was reading to you what it says on number 2. Have you read that?
Yes, Judge. I
All right.
read that.
And you agree that that's a true statement?
Yes, Judge.
All of these paragraphs, one I have to ask about is, have you ever been involved with the sex offender registration program?
No, Judge.
Okay, and number 8, where were you born, sir?
I was born in Midland County, Midland, Texas.
That makes you a U.S. citizen, and I'll still note that on the file. Now, do you have any questions about any of these paragraphs in here or these sections? There are 15 of them. You signed this document. Did you understand what you signed?
Yes, sir, Judge.
Mr. Trevino, are you satisfied that Mr. Carrasco has a full understanding of what this document says?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Thank you. This document now, this is my certification to you about the right of appeal. It repeats the identifying information at the top. The title is Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. There are a stack of about 9 little squares, vertically stacked. Each one says something different about the right of appeal. The 5th one, which I have placed at the top of the page now for you, that one says, I am certifying to you, this is a plea bargain case and the defendant has no right of appeal. You reviewed this document, right?
Yes, Judge.
And you signed it.
Yes, Judge.
And so did your attorney, Mr. Trevino.
That's
Now,
correct, Judge.
the document I'm showing you now repeats the information. This one is titled Application for Judge-Ordered Community Supervision Probation. I need to make very clear to you what probation is. It's a written legal binding agreement between you and this state, and you and this court. It requires you to live up to a number of conditions of supervision. What you have to understand is that as part of the punishment, you will be given a jail sentence, but that will be suspended, probated, as long as you live up to the conditions of supervision. And by the way, the conditions will be read to you word for word. Then you will sign them and a copy of them will be put in your hands. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, by signing this document, there's certain things that you told me specifically. Did you understand what you were telling me by signing this document?
Yes, sir.
And that is your signature right there in the middle of the page?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I'm gonna show you this page. This is the only page that doesn't have the identifying information, and really it's quite simple because this whole page identifies you. Got your name, mailing address, physical address. You're employed by Consolidated Service Company. You left off something very important.
Yes, sir.
Your income. What is your income, sir?
My income is $1,000 weekly.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes, sir. $1,000 weekly.
Okay. Good, I'm glad you got a good job. Let's see, we've got information about it? No, one thing is this, obviously this is a full-time job, right?
Yes, sir.
Because you didn't mark that, so. Let's see. I'm making notes as we speak here. All right. You have 4 dependents. What are their ages, sir?
17, 12, 6, and 14 months.
Oh, little bitty one. All right. All this information you put in there is all true and accurate. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Now I'm gonna excuse myself a second. I gotta go and get the other pages. I gotta bring the other document. Come on.
X. Up here, X.
All right.
No, X. Go back. You don't know there. No.
It might be done further up. There it is. Is that it? Yeah.
There. So you go here.
Okay.
Share screen.
All right, Mr. Carrasco, I'm trying to handle this myself instead of my coordinator. Usually she'd be zipping right through this. This document is called plea agreement. In other words, the plea deal. This one has identifying information, except it doesn't have the court on there. Your name and the case number. You'll notice the first 2 boxes are checked. The first one, guess what it talks about for the 3rd or 4th time here? The right to remain silent. It's a big, important right. The second box identifies you as a U.S. citizen. You told me where you were born. It's in the United States. That makes you a citizen. Is that clear?
Yes, Judge.
Now what you're being showed is called defendant's acknowledgements. It has 5 boxes stacked vertically. Next to each one, it says something about your rights that the court has shared with you or reminded you of your rights and protections. Do you see those? Do you understand that?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Now, in this case, you were originally charged with extreme intoxication. The state has a motion. Mr. Edelman.
The state moves to waive and abandon the extreme intoxication enhancement and proceed as an unenhanced DWI.
Defense, any objection?
No objection, Judge.
All right. Now, defense, well, we'll proceed, never mind. There being no objection, you see that bottom square there? The motion is granted. So officially, Mr. Carrasco, I have just changed the what you're charged with to DWI first, a significant change. Officially, what is your plea, sir? What is there at the bottom?
Nolo contender.
Right. Nolo contender means you're not contesting the charge. Nolo contender in this court is taken as a guilty plea. Is that clear?
Yes, Judge.
That by itself is sufficient for me to find you guilty. Now, I order you, Mr. Carrasco, to come into the courthouse to the offices of County Court at Law number 5 within 7 days of today. We'll extend that a little bit because I think next Friday, which would be the 7th day, will be a holiday. So you have until Monday,
No, Friday's not. Monday.
I'm sorry. Go show you how well I know my holidays. You'll have until Friday, 7 days to come in and have your thumbprint placed on the official court document. Is that clear?
Yes, Judge.
All right, now, I find you, based on your plea and the evidence, I find you guilty. You're sentenced to 6 months, Bexar County Jail. That's the jail part. But it's probated or suspended for a term of 12 months. Is that clear to you, sir?
Yes, Judge.
You are fined $500. You will perform 48 hours of community service restitution. In addition, you will in good faith enroll in and complete the DWI education program, the DWI victim impact panel, a TAP evaluation, and you'll follow the recommendations. For 6 months, you will have ignition interlock monitor device placed on your vehicle, that Dodge. It's a Magnum, isn't it?
Yes, Judge.
The red one.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, I bet you it's known for being a real slow, pokey car, huh?
Yes, Judge.
You think I believe that? Yeah, a red Dodge Magnum that is a slow, pokey car? I don't think so, but perhaps it is. All right, now you have 4 children. You're making relatively good money.
Yes, Judge.
I'm going to set your supervisory fee at $47 a month. I'm making that note for the records here. I want to share something with you, Mr. Carrasco.
Yes, sir.
You were originally charged with extreme intoxication. That's very dangerous, sir. You've got 4 children. The worst thing that could happen to you in your life, the very worst thing that could happen to you, is for you to be drinking and driving. You got your kids with you and you kill them in an accident. Do you think that happens to people? It does. Drinking and driving are dangerous. So I want you to give some serious thought to how important drinking is versus the lives of your own children. Now, the second thing I want you to think about is this, Mr. Carrasco. Please think about it. The life your children are going to have depends upon the love and caring you give them and the example you give them. Good example and bad example. I think we've all seen kids that they walk like their fathers, or they talk or move like their fathers or mothers. That's what life is. We give good example or bad example. Heavy drinking. You think your kids don't know that you drink? I think they do. And what impact is that going to have on their lives? Now, that's my sermon for you for today. I hope you listen and think about it, because it can be very, very important to you and your kids, okay? Now, I don't even know if you live with them.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You may not be living with them, but they still know you. They still care about you, and they still watch and learn from you. Are you following me?
Yes, sir, Judge.
Give it some thought, guy. Good luck to you. Do you have any questions, Mr. Carrasco?
No, sir, I do not, Judge.
Mr. Trevino,
No, Judge, thank you.
Mr. Edelman?
Nothing from the state, sir.
All right.